Hello, and welcome back again to another episode of the Bamsters Rated R Show. It is the end of September, and so that means it's upcoming games for October. We're going to sit down and run through about a dozen games that we think might be worth your attention, depending on your particular interests, that'll be coming out throughout October. And with me today, I have G-Talk.
No.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but it's late and I'm hungry and it's Sunday. No.
As usual, we are pre-recording this, so if things change between the date of recording and when this episode actually comes out, our apologies. I'll see if I can maybe have G put some notes in if he finds out that things change.
Like last time where somebody completely delayed a game 5 months after we said, yay, we're excited about this coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that was, I think, what that news broke the same morning we released our episode.
Oh, literally, I was just wrapping up and getting ready to hit the release and going, okay, Conan Chop Chop has been delayed. Somebody chop the release date. Ha! Oh, that killed me.
Alright, well, I'm going to jump into it, and first up, one that I have been waiting for, a little bit longer than I expected to be, because it did get delayed. That was Destiny 2 Shadow Keep. That'll be out on October 1st. This will be out on Steam, PS4, and Xbox One. And yes, I did say Steam, just in case you hadn't already heard the news, which it's been kind of a big deal, and I figure most people have, but just in case you haven't, it won't be on Battle.net anymore starting the 1st of October. So if you have not already logged into your account, make sure that you go do that. Log into Bungie.net, and there is an option there to transfer your account or set it up and get it ready for the transfer on the 1st of October. It's a pretty simple process, really easy to get through. It only takes a few minutes. You link your Steam account, and then you're pretty much good to go. So it's just a few mouse clicks. But as far as what will Shadowkeep be, they're going to up-level everyone on the gear score to level 750. So even if you haven't played for a while, you'll be able to jump right in. There's going to be, new story missions. There's a new destination. We're going to get to go back to the moon, which folks will not have seen since Destiny 1. So if you've only ever played on PC, this will be brand new to you. There'll be, like I said, new story missions and quests. They're adding a new dungeon, of course, more gear, an additional raid. There will be a season pass, but just because of the way the last season pass worked, I'm not going to be picking up the season pass myself. I picked up the last season pass, and Black Armory was okay, but I really felt they kind of missed the mark. And it was interesting when it first started, but they just kept releasing more and more armories to go through that was the same game mechanic. And I thought if they'd have switched up the game mechanics, it would have been a little more interesting, more fun to play. Gambit came through, and while I know there's a lot of fans out there of Gambit, the PvP modes, even the mixed PvE, PvP, are not really my thing. So that was a wasted part, and I just never even got into Season Opulence because I had fallen out and was trying to keep with other things. The nice thing about what they're doing with the Season Pass from this, my understanding is you don't have to buy the full-on season. They're going to allow you to buy the individual pieces and parts. So if you see that there's something going on during the season that you want to jump in on, you can just pick up that part for a smaller cost.
Have they fixed the whole cross-play, cross-account, cross-things?
So, yeah, I guess that's another big thing that I kind of just really didn't even get into here is the cross-save. Cross-play is not going to be taking place just yet, but you will be able to pick up your character and play that character on any platform that it's available on. So you will have to set, my understanding is you set your main account. So for instance, if you sit most of the time and play on PC, but you also have a PS4 or an Xbox One that you want to play on, your main account is where you would go to farm and gather things, but you can actually sit down on a PlayStation or an Xbox and play that character. Crossplay, still hoping for that at some point in the future. I thought I saw something where they were going to put that out, but now I'm second guessing myself because there's been so much conflicting news about cross-save and cross-play that I can't remember.
There will be so much whining if they do cross-play. Oh, the PC master races.
I think that there's going to definitely be some whining, but I think there's also going to be a lot of folks that are excited and happy about that because you got folks who play on one platform or another, and they have friends who play on a different platform. So it'll be nice, you know.
I'll admit it. I am not so old and slow and decrepit that I need to play Destiny. I'm perfectly fine with Warframe and other slightly faster games. But I guess, you know, if cross-account thing works, then I can set my PlayStation as the main account and come and play on the PC and get into some of this, the Division 2 Shadowkeep.
There you go.
Just to play with you.
Alright, and next up on the 4th of October, for $59.99 and up, as there is different collector's editions, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Yeah, that went well. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Now, this is out in the Ubi store, on the Epic Games Store, PS4, and Xbox One. It's a third-person slash first-person shooter, because when you aim, it goes into first-person. This is the sequel to G's favorite politically correct game, Wildlands. Yeah. And this time around, it seems to have been infected a little bit with an RPG and survival bug, which I talked about in a news update back at the beginning of September. I'm not a big fan of survival mechanics. In a game like this, I'm not super excited about those things making it into the game. I can kind of see why they might have wanted to do that, but I just... it's unnecessary. It just slows down the pace of the game. So, if you want to know more about that, check out the September 9th news episode, though.
And I'm sort of... You're right. The first one was politically incorrect, and it's interesting that they actually got sued over this. And went, oh, nope, we're not being terrible to the country. Followed by them now making this game that is basically an admittance that, yeah, we shouldn't set a game like this in a real world country. Let's make an imaginary island where you fight out on. The story sounds mostly meh, but just more of the same, and mechanically it seems, again, a lot of polish, but more of the same. Which is good, because arguably Ghost Recon Wildlands was mechanically a good game.
It was. This one has its issues, at least when I was playing in the beta. I ran into some things that were frustrating. Just the way that the character movement was going through, I think that really needed to be tightened up. There were times I couldn't even walk through a doorway because he kept running past the doorway instead of going through the doorway. And then there were other times where you would let up on the movement key and he would still keep running 3 or 4 steps beyond, and then you'd fall off a ledge. So there are things that need to be tightened up on that before the actual release. Hopefully that happens. I was joking, of course, when I said, politically correct or whatever. I know that the issues that you have with them portraying the other game in a country, but to me that's just the same thing as people saying that video games are the cause of violence.
No, not even close.
But this is a fictional game. This is not based on any real-life experiences. Yes, it was set in a real life...
And it portrayed a country in a specific way. It's the portrayal of the country.
Every one of those characters that you encountered were fictional, so how does that portray a country in any way?
Do you really want to get into that now? It portrays a country negatively by basically showing that everybody in that country are maniacal shooters and want to kill everybody, and everybody are related to the gang violence, and everywhere there's drugs. It just isn't that bad.
Right, but you can only make that correlation if you cannot separate reality from fantasy.
No.
This was a fictional game.
I disagree, but, that one will have to agree to disagree.
We could go back and forth on that for a while. Alright, you had another one for us, next day after that, the 5th?
Oh yes, Hanaby the Witch. A cute little side-scroller in what I would call really clean visuals and bright settings. And that might be because of its origin. It is a very Japanese game, as in it's only available in Japanese. Steam even puts up a nice little warning. This game is not available in English. But you control a little squirrel-like pyrotechnician. And that pyrotechnician, that's somebody who plays with fireworks. So everything you do, more or less, is with fireworks. You want to hover? You take some fireworks and point them downwards, like a little Roman candle. And she hovers nicely. And there's a story about why this character is doing what she's doing. She's looking for a customer who told her to put on a fireworks show, her first big one. And she has to find the ingredients and the customer. It's part of a series, the Hanaby series. It's the second one, interestingly enough. I haven't seen the previous ones. I haven't even heard of it, but I came across this one, and it looks really, really cute and nice and easy, and, you know, a step away from too much overt violence. Drax looking completely dead.
Because a squirrel with fireworks is not violent, huh?
No, but it's the portrayal, the visuals, as that they're very clean. There is some violence. She aims a little cannon full of fireworks at somebody at one point in the trailer.
I was going to say, all you're missing is some coffee power-ups, and this would become a real nightmare of a squirrel.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. It definitely, it's a very cute-looking game. I could definitely see this being something that, you know, adults and children alike can enjoy. Little 2D platformer, and it definitely has that retro 2D platformer feel to it. But although the graphics are much better than what you would have expected out of something like, you know, like the old school 2D platformers.
It is very well made, the graphics. Visually, it seemed like a lot of work has gone into it.
Yeah, it almost seems like you're playing a cartoon.
Yeah.
Is how the animation style is for it. So, yeah, no, that's cool. I dig that.
So if you are into, well, if you can live with the fact that it's Japanese, if you can read Japanese for that matter, check it out.
Oh, and you know what? I said October 5th, but I'm seeing the Steam page says October 4th, so it's the same day that Recon Breakpoint comes out then. So if you...
It's one of those different sources show different dates. So yes, either 4th or the 5th.
But nowhere seems to have a price for this game.
Nope. No price available.
All right, and then on the 8th of October for $29.99, Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince. This will be out on Steam for Windows, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This is a 2.5D action-adventure platformer, and I haven't played any of the Trine series. I've heard of them, and I know that I've seen videos for them before. I've got to say that it's a, like, visually, it's a very, really neat and pretty looking game.
It's gorgeous.
And as G pointed out to me, yeah. And as G was pointing out to me, this is a co-op puzzle solver.
Yeah, I mean, you can. It's meant that you can play it alone, but a lot of puzzles work with co-op and having somebody on another character. Not full on like good old Vikings, where you have to move a character and then stand still and then move a character. But you can do that. And I think it's a game that sort of should be played co-op. It has local and online 4-player multiplayer. So definitely something to play with a friend.
And then I see here too, it looks like you can get all 4 of the Trine games, I think it's the same day, for $49.99.
Yeah, if you missed out on any of them, for example, if you only played the first one, I should say there's some controversy with the third one, because it started out as a 2D, then went 2.5D, then went 3D, and now going back to 2.5D because people did not like the 3D effect in the third one. But if you only played like the first one, you want the whole collection, this is your chance. Or if you just, for completionist reason, want them, yeah, 50 bacon tokens.
Alrighty. And also on the 8th of October for Switch, PS4, on Steam, and Xbox One, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
Just pointing out, that's the third side-scroller, horizontal side-scroller we're talking about in a row.
Yeah, no, it almost seems like this is going to be kind of making a comeback.
Yeah, we talked about that, last week? Everything's going 2D because 3D exploration, not so much anymore. That seems to be taking a dive, but everybody's doing 2D horizontal or 2.5D.
Well, and it definitely, I think, in some ways hits that nostalgia feel for those of us who've been around for a while and grew up playing 2D platformers.
And I would say Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is kind of sort of hitting that. I mean, it's the sequel to Yooka-Laylee. But it's also sort of the sequel to the Banjo-Kazooie games. And even though it's a different developer, it's published by Team 17, who also made, and now I'm going to reveal a bit of my age, Super Frog. And it might be me looking at Yooka, i.e. the actual character. Sorry, Laylee is the bat. It might be because it's green, but I have some Super Frog feelings from this game.
When you mentioned Banjo-Kazooie, and I'd say it's got that, same kind of gameplay mechanic where you've got these two characters working in concert. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, it's definitely a spiritual sequel to Banjo-Kazooie. So, but what's to say? Yeah, 2.5D, but there is a 3D overworld, so you move around more 3D, although top-down-ish view. And then when you play through the levels themselves, it's 2.5D. And you're making use of, the two characters and how they can move. And that's kind of sort of the thing with this one. There'll be a lot of movesets, i.e. patterns you can activate, combinations on the old joypad. And as you learn more movesets, you find other ways of getting through levels. So it isn't just run and jump, it's actually how you move that matters. And I mean, if you have a game where the lead character is a chameleon, you need to be able to change colors, right? Well, they've gone all out in letting you change the visual style for the game. So you can set it to some kind of sepia or overbright colors and whatnot, simply by things you pick up. So it's, if you like colors and if you're into bright things, but also want that puzzler, 2D, 2.5D puzzler, horizontal scroller, I think this is the game to get. The other ones, Trine is gorgeous and has its own reason to exist with the characters, with the different characters you can play as and with the multiplayer. The before mentioned witch, Hanaby. Again, the very clean visuals. But if you're into something that is a little bit more different, a little bit more challenging, I think Yooka-Laylee is it.
All right, and this is out. I'm noticing at least on Steam, there's a 10% discount until the release of October 8th. Yes. So it's $29.99 US, and with the 10% discount brings it down to $26.99. And I see that you notated here in euros, it's $26.99.
Yeah, there was only one price. I didn't see a discount when I looked it up.
Ah, okay. All right, and the day after that, October the 9th, for PS4, and I was seeing that there should be like a PSVR option for this as well.
There is.
Concrete Genie. Yeah, and the price listing for this is between $29.99 and $39.99, depending on the version. But this one, we've seen a couple videos for this, and it's really interesting what they've done and how they've done this. You basically, the story is that, you're a kid living in a small town and, gets bullied, but, he's an artist. And so he's been drawing a bunch of stuff in his sketchbook and stuff. And then he happens upon this magical paintbrush and begins to start, basically graffitiing the sides of, buildings and things like that with this magical paintbrush. But what he discovers is that the paintbrush then brings the things to life. So the cool aspect about this is that the creation that they're allowing for the player to do with the artwork and then animating what the player puts on screen. I thought that was really neat, and that's something I don't really think we've seen too much, if at all. So it's kind of a new thing, at least to me. And so the whole point of this is that he's then using the paintbrush and the artwork on the walls to combat the darkness that is like infesting his hometown. So that's the story points of it. But visually, this is a really neat looking game.
It seems to be more in line with the other stuff that Sony's been doing both on the PS3 and PS4. So where you have the Sackboy games, you have Dreams, games where you can create things in and then letting other people experience them. Well, here you're not sharing the experience so much as you're just making it as part of the game mechanics. So we have the move controller being your paintbrush. My only concern is how many people are going to make animated penises.
Well, from the creation options I've seen, I'm sure there are folks out there who will get creative and find ways to do that. But yeah, it's not immediately what comes to mind, at least to me, when doing this stuff. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see some of that.
Oh, this one will have a short time to penis.
Yeah, good old TTP.
Yeah. But it looks amazing, and as you said, PSVR, yes, that's where it's heading. That's, I think, where the game should be played, because it seems to be pretty much designed for it, just with an option or a relaxation in the gameplay mechanics to allow it to work on regular PS4. If so, I kind of sort of hope they still have move support. I don't quite know how they would do it, but give me move support on regular PS4. And Draxic, I should actually mention the next one because he's taken us into every single one of these. Hitting it on October 11th at 40 bacon tokens, AeternoBlade II, which is, surprise, surprise, a sequel to AeternoBlade. The original came out in 2014, a little, horizontal scroller again. Actually, we're back to those. Action puzzler. The original actually came out on 3DS and Vita, so it was for handhelds. But this time coming out on PS4 and Switch, because the Vita's long gone and there's no mobile thing on Sony platforms. But it's more of the same. If you play the original, this is just more and more polished. But they're going all in on the whole time manipulation thing. So this time you can, manipulate time. You can stop it, you can fast forward, you can slow it down, and use that either to solve puzzles or just to, freeze the enemy and walk over and punch him. Because who doesn't want to do that? It looks really good, but it is I'd say mechanically perhaps a little bit outdated, except for the time manipulation. That seems to be a thing even these days. I've seen quite a few games play around with time mechanics. Yeah. But the rest of it is, a bit older style, older mechanics from what we can tell still. And the game is really just building on to AeternoBlade 1. They're adding more heroes. There's Freya from the original, and there's 2 more heroes whose name I forgot to add into the documents, so I can't tell you what they are. But they represent different combat styles. So whether you want to play one style or another, whether you want to have one specific set of abilities or another, you choose a hero accordingly, and you have to find and activate them. Now, we say that it's coming out on October 11th. Not every source is agreeing with that. Some say autumn, some say 2017. This is a game with a storied past. They tried to kick it on Indiegogo. That didn't get anywhere. I think £1,800 were invested, and that was it. So, whoops. Now it's with a publisher in the UK. It's still made in, I can't even remember what country, Malaysia or something. But if you look up the developer's webpage, that hasn't been updated since 2017. So, either way, if you like things where you hack and slash a lot and build up good old combo counters, this is sort of it. It's not 3D. I admit it, I understand a lot of people want that horizontal instead. Left to right scroller. Don't have much else to say on that.
Yeah, I really don't have anything to add. This one wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even know anything about it, and all I've seen at this point is just the announcement trailer. So, this to me feels like this is kind of a niche type thing. Like if you played the first one and you were into this game, this would be something that you would be looking forward to. Or
if you played older Japanese, particularly if you played on the PSP and less so on PS Vita, PS2, Japanese slashing games. Yeah. There was a lot of them back on the PS2.
Alrighty, and next up on the 15th of October, this is one that kind of came out of nowhere when I was doing a little bit of research for this. It'll be 3 days before the movie releases, but Zombieland Double Tap Road Trip. You'll get to play as, each of the 4 original characters from the first movie, and this is it's a top-down zombie shooter. So, so far when we've been looking this up, it looks like GameStop has a listing for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch for $39.99.
No, they don't.
The game, well, not for you.
GameStop's webpage doesn't work.
Yeah, it works for me though, over here in the US. But I didn't see a listing at GameStop, at least on their website, for a PC version. But this is listed to come out on PC as well. Also looked at the Steam and Epic Game stores, didn't find it there either. So it's supposed to be out on Windows, but don't know exactly where you'll be able to buy that yet.
That seems to be a theme. Last month there was games that are getting delayed. This time it's, they're supposed to be coming out, but we don't know.
Well, it should be out on the 15th, since that's 3 days before the movie releases anyway. And, at least on console. Yeah, we're just still trying to find out where on PC.
And I saw there was something about picking up Twinkies. So I'm assuming it's one big Twinkie advert.
You know what? While we were sitting here recording this, I went, since we were talking about the Windows Store just before we started recording, there is a listing for it on the Windows Store, and you can pre-order it at $39.99.
Okay.
So, I guess that's how you get it on PC.
I've never seen Zombieland. I have no particularly intention of watching the new one. So, meh.
Oh, you're missing out, man. You should watch the first one. It was funny.
Oh, I'm sure of it, but I think it's one of those straight-to-DVD movies that only made it to the US.
Well, I mean, do you have to see it in the theater? No, not necessarily. But yeah, it's definitely it was a fun one to watch. I'm looking forward to the second one.
Yeah, it's always good to revisit those things, isn't it?
All right. Well, I guess that's your way of segueing into the next release on the 25th of October for $59.99 and up. Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
No, it isn't.
1 or 5 or
yeah, no, because this is the 5th game in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series, and it's the first one, and it's the 3rd one to be the first one. But whereas the 4th one was the 5th one. It doesn't make sense.
This is starting to sound like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, or a Costello and Abbott piece.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Why are they making, for the 3rd time, Modern Warfare?
Well, because Warfare has been updated again. Now it's more modern.
Oh, so it's moderner Warfare.
Yeah, the weapons and the gear and the utilities have all changed. So The old one can't be modern anymore. It was modern then, but not now.
Yeah. So no. And from what I understand, you're supposed to like Modern Warfare 2, but I don't know if that's the one with the number 2 or if it's the second one, because that's the first one.
Yeah. Good luck keeping track.
But no, I'm sorry. I know people like these games, and by all means, if you like them, play them. I looked at gameplay, I looked at trailers, I looked at the announcement. It told me nothing for why you should want to play this. And I mean that, as in, the announcement trailer was just a cinematic of a lot of dark forest and somebody with a night vision scope, not even a modern one. And
how dare they?
The bits about multiplayer was just multiplayer gameplay, which I understand a lot of people are into, but it told me nothing about why should you want to play this. As far as I can tell, it's completely irrelevant. They shouldn't bother with this game. Except it'll sell like mad, because there's a lot of Call of Duty fans who want to play it.
Well, and I think that's the thing. I get what you're saying, when you're saying that you feel like it's irrelevant and why would you want to play it, but I think that's the deal, is folks who are into the Call of Duty games, who are into first-person shooters, both for either a story campaign or the multiplayer, which this is also going to have squad-based combat missions, which they haven't revealed too many details on yet. But that's the draw, is it's new content. So it's not just a matter of...
Make new content for existing game instead of making a new game.
Well, who knows? Maybe there's, new technology involved. Maybe they've updated the engine. I don't know.
EVE Online is the same game after, what are they at now, 16 years or something?
Well, yeah, I mean, how much have spreadsheets changed in the last 16 years?
How much can you change in a game where it's run around and one-shot people with a sniper rifle up front? Personal. The one thing that they showed, that they introduced, and they were going, oh, look, this is going to be awesome, is a Battle Royale-styled map that shrinks while you're playing 4 versus 4.
Battle Royale, what is this, 2018?
Yeah, but it's the style of the map just shrinking and becoming smaller and smaller. So you have less and less room to maneuver in a 4v4. I mean, I appreciate they wanted to hurry up and stuff, but disclaimer, I don't like to play 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, those small things. I want 30 players on a side. I want there to be carnage. But If this works for them, go for it. If you like this game, by all means, again, get it. But understand that you're just getting more of the same. And this should just be a map pack and an upgrade.
Well, I think that's kind of the point. I think that's why folks, especially fans of the series, that's exactly why they get it. They want more of the same.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm sure there's a story about why you walk around shooting things. But again, the material I saw did not hint at it at all.
Well, the story will be the single-player story missions to play through, so...
Yeah, and I did not see a hint of it.
Alright, well that will be out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on the 25th.
I'm going to change that to, say, Windows, because it's not coming out on Mac or Linux.
No, that's a good point, yeah.
Definitely not coming on
Linux.
Linux.
And that one's going to be out on Battle.net, actually, and I don't know if there's a listing for Steam. I should look that up.
Eh.
Yeah, I know you don't like my keyboard. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, World at War.
What do you suggest?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell, right? Because there's so many Call of Duty Modern Warfare without numbers behind them. I'm just going to go with Battle.net.
Yeah, I have a Cherry keyboard too.
Okay. You get to edit this, so I'm not worried. Alright, and also on the same day, what are we going to call this? Another 2.5D? Or is this more isometric game that's... it'll be out on PS4, MediEvil, for $29.99.
MediEvil.
This is a remake of the original 1998 PS1 game.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. I'm going to say more 3D. Yeah, I would call this a 3D. That was the fun one with the original. So this is a remake, not a remaster. They didn't just take the old one and polish it and get it onto the PS4. They remade it from the ground up. Well, they took components, I guess, and updated, but apparently they did a lot of reprogramming and everything. And that's sort of the key, because the original came out, I think it's come out on PS1 originally in 98. I think it's been out on PS3 and one of the either PSP or Vita as well. But when they made it, that was new thing to do things in 3D. That was new to the team, and they only had access to a PS1 like briefly when they released it. So that they done the whole work on a PC and then got it onto the PS1 weeks before release, according to the stories. And what failed for them was the camera, to move the camera in 3D, because they'd never done that. It's the first time that team done anything in 3D. So the expectation is you get all the humor and all the fun and all the mechanics from the original, but this time in a slightly prettier and more, well, from the camera side, more functional game. And if you haven't played, I haven't played it. I want to play this game. I've been wanting to play it for ages. So now it's on the PS4 now. I definitely need to get it. Definitely need it. Definitely need to get it. Definitely need.
Yeah, I kind of remember this game when it came out just because of the character design for the main character, and there's something about that makes him, well, I shouldn't say something, especially the skull head makes him immediately recognizable.
Definitely.
And hopefully this works out well for them and well enough that they want to make sequels to this, because this looks like this should be a fun game to play.
Everything I ever heard about it is that it's hilarious. It's good fun. And you're right, that knight is very recognizable.
Yeah.
So October 25th, 30 bacon tokens. Get it. And I would say on that day, that's the game you should get. Don't bother with anything else.
So, not so much of a fan of the Outer Worlds anymore?
I want to play Outer Worlds. Let's be honest. I like Fallout. And I like Borderlands. There's no way in hell I'm not going to like the Outer Worlds.
Yeah, this definitely does look like this could be kind of a good fun mix of the two. out from Obsidian Entertainment. These guys generally know how to make games, so yeah, I know there was a lot of pushback because they decided to go Epic Game Store exclusive. And here's one of the weird things. This is just like Metro, an Epic Game Store exclusive, and yet it's also available on the Windows Store. So as I saw one article that you sent me mention Epic Game Store exclusive basically means just not on Steam. It can be on other stores, but not Steam.
Yeah, because you'll see it also Ubisoft, when they agree to be on the EGS, they also put it on their own store, etc. So it just means not Steam.
Yeah, but see, that makes sense because they're the publishers of the game and they do have their own storefront, so I would expect the same thing from anything that EA published would be on Origin,
yeah, but
etc. But this is not...
The Outer Worlds is Obsidian, which is owned by Microsoft. So yeah.
So there you go.
It is the same thing. I loved it though. I'm terrible at these kind of games. Anybody who saw me play Fallout knows that I'm terrible at this. And the trailer says that one of the reasons you should come to Halcyon, the recruitment trailer, is because they accept even the lowest aptitude scores.
Oh, so we're both perfect for that.
When it comes to these kind of games, very low aptitude score. But I want to play it, and I actually want to... This is something I wanted to play multiplayer. A little bit like Borderlands. I know it's not Borderlandsy, but not in this regard. But I want to play a story like this in multiplayer. Sorry. But for now...
No, I suspect that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but for now, I'll gladly play because the story looks like it's going to be awesome.
Well, and the character and creature designs, the environments, this is all shaping up to be a visually neat-looking game.
Yeah. I like the pig thingies that grow boils and fall off and becomes food.
That just doesn't sound good. But one more thing before we move to the last game on our list this week, just kind of a call out to the guys that do the epic rap battles. I'd love to see you guys do one between Gabe Newell and Tim Sweeney.
They stopped doing them ages ago, like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but this could be their comeback. I just think it would be hilarious.
Gabe Newell and Tim Sweeney then have a Pitchfork show up and just ruin the whole thing.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right, and the last one on the list, on the last day of October, for $59.99 on a Nintendo Switch, Luigi's Mansion 3. This is what I'm going to go ahead and call a 2.5D, 2.5D action-adventure platformer. The action-adventure game, maybe not so much platformer. But, I mean, look, it's Luigi as a Ghostbuster. What else do you need to know? Oh, wait. You can play as a Slimer version of Luigi called Gooigi.
Apologies, I know you Switch people are into this kind, but this whole, it's Mario-based, Mario-related, therefore we... no. It's gone overboard, says the guy who keeps asking everybody about bacon. The whole Mario, Luigi, no. Bowsette, no. Just no.
I mean, they're going to milk that cow for all they can get, right?
Oh, they are. They have been. At this point, I'm sort of amazed people are still buying into it.
But yeah, there's also some multiplayer modes in it. Looks like you go in and rescue a bunch of Toad-like characters. Look, this looks like it's going to be a fun game. At 60 bacon tokens, it's not something I'm going to pick up right away because I just have too many other things in the pipeline, especially for October. But I've definitely got it on my list to check out at some point.
Yeah, no, this would be on my just ignore list. Remember the old saying, absence make the heart grow fonder? I think we need some absence from Mario's world.
Well, you got that. Between the release of the Mario games for the Wii and the first Mario game for the Switch, there was a period of absence.
Not enough.
Well, and on that note, I suppose we should wrap up and give you some absence from us.
Yay.
So for those of you listening on the podcast clients, as always, your listenership is appreciated. Those catching this on YouTube or Facebook, a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all of the things, all of the buttons and bells. Click them all, because we greatly appreciate that, and that absolutely helps us out.
And if you're listening to this on Twitter, I'm impressed.
Yeah, give us a like there too. All right. Thanks again. We are out of here.
Ciao.